Welcome to this powerful program all about your journey defined. And there's a willingness and obedience that I would love you to apply. But where are we right now? In my first session, we talk a lot about living out your design. Why are you on earth? We've also discussed things in our second session about career struggles, mismatching, and all these type of things. In the last session, I talk about the world of work, but today I want us to take it further, and it's about your personal scorecard. And I know as you listen to me, there's going to be questions, there's going to be uncertainties, and I'm going to do today this session slightly different. I'm going to start with a case study. Now listen to this story. This is the story about John, and his name is John, and he's one of the students in my class, and listen to what he said. You discussed the 3 questions that can tell you so much about yourself, who you are, why you exist, where you're going, and what is the master of your life. You said that we could answer these questions, then you will help us. I've answered the questions and I'm taking liberty. Now, I want you to do something similar. It doesn't matter where you are. You're sitting at home, you're listening to me, said, Mario, I've got also a question or two. Now, listen to his case. As I've said, my name is John, I'm 33 years old, and I've started my career as an operations supervisor and a manager. But now, listen to the second part. The business was subsequently sold and I was retrenched. Now, that is always a difficult time. You've lost your job, you're uncertain, you take it personally, and you think, well, this is me, and maybe that's not always the case. So then I became self-employed, but things did not work out. And this is where the problem lies. I've applied for a number of jobs without success. Now, this is what I often see. People applying now for jobs. They are missing the point. They are unemployed. They just need money. There's all sorts of problems. And listen to this again. I'm married to a wonderful woman who is very understanding of my situation. That's not always the case. Because sometimes you suddenly realize you've lost your job. There is now conflict. There's misunderstanding. There's confusion. The problem is that one starts losing faith in oneself, and there's a big disappointment. Now, I know what's going to happen. This person is unemployed, he needs a job, but now listen, look at the way he's actually trying to fix this. Listen to this. I'm currently on the short list for a job again. I believe that should I be successful, now you see something very interesting. Should I be successful? Now, deep down, this person don't believe in himself or herself. So it's possible that this person is going to apply for a job, going for the interview, and they ask him some fundamental questions, and he's not showing that enthusiasm, that faith. He's not believing in himself. So he's saying it's difficult for him to make a success. Furthermore, it's an accounting position of which I have some experience, but which I do not think it's really my line of work. Now, what's going to happen? He's applying for a job. It's not his line of work. It's not even maybe his godly design. And I know what's going to happen. So one of the first things that I'm always saying is you got to go back to your career direct. You're going to assess your personality, your interests, your skills, and your values. And even if you said, Mario, but how do we do this? How can we get involved? I want to train you as a facilitator. I want to bring you in so that you can help people in doing something similar. But listen to the rest of his story. However, I'm desperate and will do anything just to be able to work. It's a vicious cycle. So what this person's saying, listen, I just don't want, I want work. I need to survive, Mario. I need money. You know, even if it's not something that is my God's calling, it doesn't matter. It's a tough situation. I know it. I know it. And then for most of the day, you are doing something you do not really enjoy. You are very frustrated by the time you arrive home. Now, can you put yourself in that position? This is often, it's real. There's a lot of unemployment. There's uncertainty. You want to do a job. You want to just do anything, even if it's not your job's calling or your life's calling. What do we do? And his last part of his story is about what is the reason for my existence. In all honesty, I don't really know. I don't know it. It's a struggle from one day to the next. I'm only existing. I'm not living. I would love and like to be play a role for my wife and my child, but because of the problems and worries of every day, I only see the here and now. Brilliant case. And I know, familiar case, we're sitting in the world of work. There's lots of unemployment. Mario, where do I start? Please help. I need some guidance. I'm confused. And this is the type of thing, a retrenchment. It can happen if you feel disappointment, you've lost your job, you feel you're unemployed, you don't know where to make a difference. All the stuff that we've discussed so far, you said, Mario, this is great, but listen, I need to pay the bills. I don't know what to do, and I want to apply for a job. And I interviewed a person recently, and the person said to me, Mario, even on my interview, I was dishonest because they asked me a specific question, what happened with your previous job? And he was like telling a lie. And this is where we need to understand these principles. So one of the first things that I want to ask you to do in this specific case, when I coach a person like that, when I help a person like that, I love to go to the basics. I know it's going to take a little bit of time, but I want you to follow me. One of the first things that I love asking a person like this, like John, who was desperately looking for a job. John, tell me who you are. Tell me about why are you on earth. John, tell me about what are your life objectives. Tell me about the reason that you live. Because even through this experience, there could be a powerful witness. I know sometimes these type of things happen and you don't know why, but I want to go back to the basics. Because John is not looking for a job. He's desperate and is actually sometimes dangerous. And it could be that he's doing something that's out of his line. So this discussion today is all about understanding your personal scorecard. And I'm going to take you through this session as well as the next one, understanding your scorecard. Because if you don't understand your scorecard, you don't understand your GPS, you can do something, but it's maybe there's something wrong. The second point on the scorecard is all about, it's about what are going to be the next steps. Because we can dream about it, we can think about it, but what is going to be the next steps? Now, my next steps to me is the following, and listen to the questions again, is where are you going? Things like, what are your long-term ambitions? Where are you involved? What do you want to achieve? Also, what do you stand for? What do you believe in? What are your ideals? And this is often a time I'm saying there's a lot of pain, there's frustration, there's disappointments. And I know sometimes you see the best things in a person. Sometimes when you're going down, when you go on your knees again, you suddenly realize, I need help. I need to understand this. So the first thing that I've asked is, who are you? What is your vision statement? Now you will see I'm going to take you into the next session also, but in the meantime, think about what I've asked you. You're sitting, you don't have a job, where do I start? And then specifically about, a lot of people said, listen, Maria, how do I prepare myself for an interview? What are the things that I need to put on my, my curriculum, my CV? There's a way to do it. There's a God's way of doing it. We're messing it up. And I want to urge you, please, if this is who you are, you sitting in the other side, so Mario, I need to get involved, please do so. But let's just take a short break. I want you to reflect on what I've said so far so that I will be back by carrying on with our case study, because I want to fix this. I don't want to leave in the air. So I'm going to be right back. Listen to us for the rest of the story.
Do we understand these different seasons? We try our best to help people to be successful. As people move on with their lives, there is a desperate need to move on to the season of significance. In our research on managerial degeneration and self-neglect, we have found that managers easily understand the importance of strategic thinking and when to have team-building sessions with their staff, but often fail to apply those same processes in their own lives. Use your willingness and obedience now. Start your journey to be a facilitator today. When trained as a facilitator, you will have the opportunity to serve people in a very unique way. We are keen to take you through this wonderful training. Let the rest of your life be the best part of your life.
And John is unemployed and he's looking for a job. So let's go back to this case study. Where do we start? What do we do? And I know it's not an easy situation, but I want to explain again. One of the first things we're going to do is sit down with this person. So listen, now tell me who you are. Why do you exist and where you're going? It's all about your mission statement. And I know it's going to take some time, but you know, as I explained to you, it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish the race. I want you to hear those words, faithful servant. I want you to make a difference in the workplace. So what is the first step? Yes, do sit down and analyze that. But you need to also ask yourself, what about your vision? What do you see? What is the ideal situation? But then also, each and every person will have some gifts and talents. And I want you to do these assessments, to identify this, play according to your strengths. Now, I'm not sure if you love football, but I love football. And you know, often in a game like football, you play according to your strengths. What are you bringing to the table? So when you're going to go for your interview, people are going to ask you that question. What are you bringing to the table? What are your accomplishments? What are your reasons for your success? How can you make the difference? And doesn't matter your background. So that's very important to look at your success, look at things that you've done. Now, I know people is going to do sometimes a reference check on you, and this is why I'm saying, hey, make sure that when you move on in life, what do you leave behind? What are people saying about you? That to me is very important. But, and again, in a time like this, and John, this case, he's like seeking for a job. I call him John the Seeker. You've got to sit down and ask yourself, what can we do? And I'm saying it doesn't matter where you are. You've got to start putting out some objectives. It's like climbing a mountain. You've got to start taking the first step. Do something. Don't do nothing about it. And I want to repeat something that I've said before. It is time for prayer. Why? Because prayer is still the most powerful, cost-effective, even underutilized tool that we can use in our journey defined. You and I, we don't have all the answers. But if you start applying this, I believe if you knock, if you ask, if you seek diligently, something is going to happen. So what we're talking in these cases, start writing this up and say, well, listen, we need to understand who you are, where you're going. We need to apply your assessment and apply these type of things. And then also, once you've got these type of guidelines in mind and you do these type of things, you got to start spelling out and listening to this person that I'm saying about some actions. But also very important, one of the things that I love doing and sitting down with a case like this is sitting down with the person. So, listen, I need to understand your heartbeat. Now, what is heartbeat all about? Because something happened like this, and I'm going to go through these questions, and I want to please ask you, connect with me. I would love to forward those questions to you. I want to ask you, let's get involved. And listen to these powerful questions. One of the first things that I want to ask this person, what is keeping you awake at night? It's a fundamental question. So you can see this person is down, he's worried, there's some infighting, there's insecurities, there's some financial problems and issues due to the fact that he don't have a job. It is keeping him awake at night. I want to hear, where is this coming? What can we do about it? The second thing is, what inspires this person? What makes him tick? And it's all about your mission statement. It's all about your scorecard, because God put you on earth for a reason. And he said, Mario, but what if, I don't have qualifications? And I'm saying that's not the point. What makes you tick? What do you do when you're like in your thinking box? You've got nothing to do. What does make you tick? Very, very important. And then you start moving on to the question about, if you think about your dreams and fears, and this is something very important, you need to create hope. Why is hope so important in your journey? Simply, if you've lost money, it's significant. I know that. If you lost something of your possessions, I know it. But if you start losing hope, that's dangerous. And then you reach this point, so listen, I don't know what to do, because when you start losing hope and you must apply for a job, people's going to see it. And I want you to be excited, even if there's a disappointment. What can you do about it? And then ask questions about how do you want to be remembered for? What is this that you can still do? And I'm thinking of an example where and I want you to listen to me, two blind people approached me and said, listen, I've listened to you. We want to talk and we want to ask you for advice. And as they walk into my office, I suddenly realized this is going to be a difficult one. And I was sitting down and I listened to them, and I sat and I listened to them, and I realized they're needing some advice. And as I listened to them, I said, you know, I can see you don't have eyesight, but there's a lot of people with eyes but no vision. You do have still vision. You want to do something about it. And the next thing I asked him, you know, is it okay? You talked to me about, can you hear? And they said, yes. And then I'm saying, you know, we need people like you. We need you to be like intercessors. We need people like you to work on radios because there was nothing wrong. So my job was, so listen, I know you're sitting in a very tough situation. You know, you cannot just, it's not always easy to find a job, but keep on having hope. That to me is very important. And then you ask the question to this individual, like, listen, let's analyze. Short term, what do we need to even let go, stop, maintain, initiate? Why is this so important? It's like a SWOT analysis. On your personal scorecard, it's great to do a SWOT analysis. Now, let me just give it to you in simple language. What are the strengths? What is golden about your life? And you said, Mario, I've got nothing. And I'm saying, no, that's a lie. Even if there's one thing, that's enough. Start with that. Start with that. Because if you put your strengths, if you put it in his hands, he's going to multiply this. Think about the example of, you know, the person putting some fishes and loaves in Jesus' hands. If you put it in his hands, he can multiply this. So start thinking like that. So what are you golden about? Yes, we do have some weaknesses and limitations, but play according to your strengths and then start looking at opportunities. What do you see? And I believe this is the time where you need to get involved. Start putting this in writing, start playing this around. And what do you need to change in yourself, in your team, and your organization? Fundamental things, because we're now talking about your personal scorecard. And a personal scorecard is just to put the fundamentals back. Now, for you of sitting and listening to me say, Mario, but I'm not unemployed. I know I have a job. I'm saying, can I ask you a favor? Do something similar. It's all about who you are. It's about your journey. It's about where your definition of your understanding of the future. Because in my next series, I'm going to talk about where do we put character first? Where does that fit in? Why is it so important? Because in times like not knowing your journey, there's lots of uncertainties, lots of even disappointments, but we need to do something about it. So that's not the end of the road, please. So if you're sitting and you're listening to me, Samara, I need some help. And I want to ask you, please, I love case studies. I want to ask you, get involved. Put it in writing. Connect with us. Tell me about your situation. Tell me, Mario, what do you do in a case like this? I don't have this, or I do have this, or what do we do? What do I need to study? What do I need to do? Where do I need to get involved? I would love to hear your case, your situation, because if you look at Journey Defined, what is it all about? The fundamental thing is living according to what He's designed. You're on earth for a reason, for a time like this, to make that difference. But you need to understand your design. That's your starting point. So if you know of somebody who said, Mario, I need some help, where do I start? I'm saying connect with us so that we can work out and support you in terms of understanding your design. But something very important in your journey, there's going to be stress. There's going to be, people are feeling, Mario, come on, have you ever been in my situation? It's tough. There's a world outside. There's lots of competition. There's unfairness. This is your time. Again, work through these differences so that you can make the difference. But then as I explained to you in this world of work, what can you do when you do have a job? Are you shining? Are you making a difference? Are you adding? Are you putting the extras in? Yes or no? And to me, it's very important in this process of understanding your design. And then finally, again, look at your scorecard. A scorecard is not something that, it's just for a moment. You need to sit down, you need to analyze, you need to work through these differences. So that is what we call a scorecard. It's a simple process, but I want you, doesn't matter where you are, I want you to understand, because maybe you're sitting in the church. Maybe you're in a faith-based ministry. You're asking the question, Mario, what do I do? One of the key things that I want to explain to you, you need to understand your roles, your responsibilities. You need to understand, what do they expect from you? Are you able? Are you willing? Because what do I see often? A lot of people are willing, but not always able. And then on the other hand, I see people who are able but not willing. So when you're working in this world of work, you look at your scorecard. Look at things like, yes, I'm able and I'm willing, please. Another example that I love to use is when I travel in other parts of the world. I love to get involved. I love to ask people, what else can I do? Not only about just doing what I'm currently doing, but what else can I do? And I'm saying, please, in your work situation, I want you to understand your scorecard. I want you to be fulfilled. I want you to be a difference maker. And I know sometimes it's not easy because we spend so much time in the workplace, but I've got lots of material, support, understanding you so that you can make a difference. But just quickly again, remember, no, you've got similar issues, concerns, cases. You're looking for advice, and I'm saying, you know, we're waiting for you. I want to call you for action. I want you to bring your issues and the challenge, and then we can also start praying for you. So the ball is now back in your court. Let's do something about it. This is not only about talking. We must do something about it, and I know you can make that difference. Yes, the ball is back in your court, and I want to explain this. Why is this so important? Vision is great, but if you don't have action and you don't implement it, you're going to carry on where you are. And I want you to get involved. That to me is very, very important. And I want you to work through your own case study, your own example, but bring it to us, send it to us so that we can do something about it. So I want to call you. Let's do something about it. You can make that difference. So it doesn't matter where you are, what issues you do have in this case, what can we do about it? How can we journey together so that you can really make a difference? I want to add something. It's Psalm 86, 11 and 12, saying the following: teach me your way, O Lord, and I will walk in the truth. So it's great to hear the truths, and it's great to understand these type of things, but information without application, as I explained to you, is entertainment, and I am not in the business. I'm looking for you. I want to hear from you. I want you to write to me so that we can take it further. Even a fact, I want you to be a faithful servant. You can do these type of things. You can get involved. With this latest technology, I would love to train you. We are planning for e-learning. We are bringing you in so that you can make the difference. And by the way, I've learned this in Africa. If your hand is close, you cannot receive something. And I want to repeat this here. I want to share with you. I want to open my hands so that you can take this stuff further. You can take it into your communities, into your schools, into the government, into the business. Your journey defined. That to me is vital. But I need a willingness and I need obedience to make it happen. So I'm asking you, come on, let's join hands. How can I do it? What can I do for you? So if you've got specific prayer needs, issues that tomorrow I'm struggling with something, my vision is not clear, I'm worried about provision, I've lost my job, I've got something to share with you, and I call it my biblical affirmations. Listen to this. Dear Lord, thank you that you are my great provider. Every good and perfect gift comes from your precious hand. So what I'm saying is, let's affirm these type of things. Don't believe in the lies. We can do something about it. So I'm saying, let the rest of your life, the rest of your journey, be the best part of your journey. Remember that. The rest of your journey be the best part of your journey. And I want to close with some journey blessings. To me, that's very important. May the Lord bless you always with courage. May the Lord bless you with abundance. May the Lord bless you with specific faith in making these type of things happen. In the next session, we're going to talk about your journey defined, but we're going to go the character way. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.